So apparently the body cam footage changes everything, okay? Not the excessive force, not the broken window, not even the police showing up with their headlights off too, while pulling him over for not having his headlights on. And not the fact that a 22-year-old man got punched in the face and slammed to the ground for having an attitude. No, the body cam footage came out and now suddenly he deserves it. We just love a good gaslight.
But what I don't understand is, and I know you said that this was not ruled criminal, sucker punching the guy in the jaw.
First of all, let me stop you. Not a sucker punch. I'm not excusing that administratively. I'm going to say that to you one more time. I'm not excusing that administratively. There are things that we definitely need to look at. But the context of this video should tell you everything you need to know.
Well, again, I take it. It looks like it's a sucker punch because he's looking straight and you see this.
Right.
Okay, and then you see them pull him out, and then you see a couple of punches to the face. Now, again, I understand breaking the window, but he charged him with resisting arrest without violence. So I saw a lot of violence. I think the public saw a lot of violence against somebody that was not violent.
Well, first of all, Eric, don't try to talk the public into what they saw. They just saw the same videos you saw. So what we're doing, what I'm saying is that it is what it is. This is the information that I want to share with the public in context without a short clip. It's very important to do that because it provides a lot of information to the public.
And you brought up
it's important, let me finish. It's important for the people to know that you're not allowed to resist a police officer when he's doing his lawful duties.
So let's be very clear here. William McNeil was pulled over for not having his lights on in cloudy weather. Not at night, not speeding, not swerving, just cloudy weather. Never mind these goons with badges were pulling up in 4K with their own headlights off with no regards for all the cloudy weather they had allegedly pulled him over for. So shout out to the body cam footage. Thank God for that. And for the cherry on top, he also wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Like, oh no, call SWAT. Because clearly these are the kind of threats to public safety that require shattering a car window, okay? Punching someone in the face twice and dragging them out like a dog. But because the body cam footage showed McNeil being, what's the word? Human? Frustrated, not tap dancing for a bully with a badge, y'all flipped on him like pancakes. Because, in America, if you're black and don't say, yes, sir, master police officer, sir, when being harassed, suddenly you're an unruly YN. Mind you, we're talking about a 22-year-old biology major who volunteers his time with the university's marching band. He probably knows more marching drills than drill music, by the way, and this is what he gets. So we're going to talk about the Bootlick Olympics, where the gold medals go to the I Respect Law and Order, the What About Black on Black Crime delegation. The folks who see a black man actually being assertive and go, well, now that I see he was talking back, I'm on the cop's side. You know them, the Sambo Squadron, who loves to lecture us about how our tone makes the cops uncomfortable. Because nothing screams reasonable response like knocking out someone's tooth for not saying yes, sir.
Now, let me just explain this. It wasn't you don't see him punch the guy on the body-worn camera anywhere. And this is where the controversy starts, because there's no punching on the body-worn camera. So there's no evidence that he was ever punched. And I think that's why the controversy wasn't a thing until his video emerged. And you see him getting punched on his video. You see him getting mushed like this in the face in the car, and then you see him take one to the chin on the before they took him down to the ground. All of that, none of that is illegal. I don't care what people think. Use of force is predicated upon what an officer deems is reasonable, not what you deem is reasonable. Because you are sitting on your couch or you watching the TV in your car. I mean, you're watching the phone in your car, whatever you're doing. You're not physically there dealing with the emotional stress of the situation in its totality.
William McNeil Jr., boy, it's too hot in Florida for you to be fucking with them police, gang. My boy. And then you post a video showing half of what happened. Why didn't you post the whole encounter, my guy? So let me get this straight. Inclement weather, meaning overcast, possibly rainy. They pulled you over, probably because they ran your plates, because cops can do that. They ran your plates. They have their suspicions. They pulled you over. Come to find out, you didn't want to comply because you got some weed up in your car, your license suspended, you just riding dirty. And then you tried to be an activist when you got pulled over. Boy, you in Florida. What the fuck? I don't know, man. The internet is fucking with these people's heads a little bit too much.
And don't even get me started on a newfound forensic specialist on Twitter saying, well, the officer warned him 3 times. Like, what? Are you guys saying using 3 times a charm as some kind of logic that allows cops to punch civilians in the face? I don't get it. Cause y'all dead ass saw the same damn video. Nothing changed but the angles. And somehow y'all saw that and was like, well, he brought this on to himself. But what's funny is, though, Ben Crump still took the case. We certainly have our criticism of Ben Crump, but you know for sure he doesn't pull up for fun. So let's stop pretending McNeil has no case, because Ben Crump doesn't take cases that don't have teeth.
That day I just really wanted to know, why I was getting pulled over and why I needed to step out the car when I know I didn't do nothing wrong. I was really just scared.
Just see that video made me go back to the moment when I was 22. It hurted. It made me upset. But I seen what my son did that I had to do. And he sought right. And he did right. To see that, it's a hurting feeling. To be a father that loved God first, and to see all my kids not being able to wake up in the morning and get my phone call saying your child is gone. That's a hurting feeling, but I thank God.
Yes.
Because God got it.
I want you to try to put yourself in our shoes. Try to put yourself in William's shoes just for a second. The police stop you and tell you, you say, why are you stopping me? And they say, well, you don't have your headlights on and it's raining. And you look and you're like, there's no rain. Why are you stopping me? And all he does, why I say it's a Rosa Parks 21st century moment, he as a black person says, I'm tired of it. I'm going to try to demand my constitutional rights. That's the only thing that William McNeil did. And that's the only thing you would want your children to do. To say, as a citizen, don't I have the right to know why you're violating my 4th Amendment rights against search and seizure unlawfully? That's it. Nothing more. So search your hearts, America. If this was your child, wouldn't you be proud that William kept his calmness and his demeanor and de-escalated it? And let that govern you when you call on the sheriff to hold these police officers accountable. Because that's what we have to get here. We have to have accountability.
So let's run it down. McNeil was nonviolent, seated, and inside his own vehicle. He asked for a supervisor, which is legal. He questioned the stop, also legal. His windows didn't roll down, which is, just real life. And yes, he was difficult, which isn't a felony. Meanwhile, the officers escalated, smashed his window, punched him in the face. I know I have to say this over and over again, but he literally punched this man in the face for no apparent reason and then dragged him out with 5 officers on top of him. And the result of that is he has a chipped tooth. His lip is busted. He has a concussion and he had to have stitches. Now that's the kind of beatdown you expect in a Mexican bar fight, not a routine traffic stop. And for those saying, well, they found a knife on him. Yeah, it was in the car. On the floor. He never touched it. By that logic, every Swiss Army knife in the glove box is a death sentence now. Newsflash, possessing a knife in Florida isn't illegal. And let's not forget, there's legal precedents. Civil courts have ruled against police in similar excessive force cases where people were tased while seated, punched after being verbally difficult, or injured during nonviolent resistance. And if you don't believe me, y'all could look it up yourselves. I'm not lying, but y'all could look it up yourselves. Young versus City of Los Angeles, that was one. Smith versus Kansas City Police Department, that was another one. Brown versus City of Huntsville, that's another one. All cases where non-aggressive resistance led to payouts. So if Crump says it's go time, you better believe it's go time. This is the exact kind of lawsuit Crump's team can win or force into a settlement. But I really want to talk about a different type of narrative that can get extra uncomfortable. Because let's say William McNeil was Becky McWhite okay? 22 years old. She's in a Honda Civic, didn't turn on her lights because it was cloudy, didn't buckle her seatbelt, pumpkin spice latte in her cup holder, and top tier Valley Girl attitude in her tone. Becky locks the door, says, "I want a supervisor," rolls her eyes, and imagine this. The police breaks her window and punches her in the face twice. Her tooth is gone. She's bleeding. She has a concussion. She's dragged out by 5 officers in military-grade tactical gear like she's El Chapo. Be honest. Would America say she deserves it? Or would there be candlelit prayer vigils, news specials, true crime podcasts, GoFundMe links, and a Lifetime movie by next Tuesday? Would there be? I know there would be. Exactly. See, because folks, we're on a dangerous slope here. If having an attitude during a high-key bogus stop is now cause for legal face punching, where does it stop? Cop doesn't like your tone? That's a shot in the kneecap. Rolled your eyes? Quick karate chop at the throat. Oh, you forgot to say, sir? Now your car's impound and you got to eat through a straw for a few months. This isn't public safety anymore. It never was. Maybe I'm crazy, but I don't think we should enforce minor traffic violations with a Mike Tyson combo through the driver's window. At this point, we're all one side eye away from cops getting away with firing warning shots at brunch. And the worst part, the public is now applauding it as long as the suspect is black. Given our well-documented history of being targeted on such a large scale since the inception of this country, you would think black people would have been a protected class by now, but we're not. But let's pivot real quick. Because you know what does get protection from government forces? Illegal immigrants. It's wild to say, but how energized white Democrats have gotten to protect people who literally broke the law to get here. Like we got no kings rallies, good trouble protests, sanctuary cities. Also, our black sanctuary cities were burned down though. Remember that. Even a Judge Hannah Dugan, risking it all, including federal obstruction charges to help an illegal immigrant avoid ICE. And don't get me started on the RICO charges that all the companies hiring these illegals are not facing. The compassion and understanding is overflowing for them, because how dare the government harass innocent people just trying to live their lives? Meanwhile, Black Americans, we can be born here, pay taxes, and still get your face rearranged during a traffic stop. But apparently defending a fed up black man like William McNeil is too much to ask for. Nobody throws a good trouble march for us. We're not illegal. Nobody mobilizes. We're not undocumented. We don't get hashtags. We get told to just comply. We were born here, built the country. How do we still somehow manage to get less empathy than people who broke the law and came here illegally? Terrorism is when the state can brutalize you at random and expect silence in return. But don't worry, McNeil's not an immigrant, so you're allowed to go back to sleep. He's just another black man in America, so who really cares?
Hey, look, I usually don't do this, but I feel like I got to. Because ain't nobody gonna say it how it is, so I gotta do it. Y'all be going so hard for all these damn celebrities. Y'all be going so hard about the drama, but y'all can't stand up for your own race. And that is exactly why they keep doing this to us.
So this is America, a country where a black man gets punched in the face, apparently because he didn't have his headlights on. There's absolutely no reason why a man needs to get out of his car for not having his headlights on. It's not a criminal offense. They could just issue him with a ticket and send him on his way. But instead, William McNeil Jr. got punched in the face, attacked by multiple police officers, and beaten up, because these fascist thugs think they can get away with it just because they're in a uniform. One of the things I find most worrying about this video is the number of people saying he should have just complied. He should have just done what he was told, when there was absolutely no reason for him to get out of the vehicle at all. I wish these people would speak to women who've escaped abusive relationships, because if you ask a woman who's escaped an abusive relationship what compliance does, she will tell you that all compliance does is feed the violence. It teaches the abuser that threats and intimidation and violence work. So they just do it again and again and again. In fascist societies, which America has become, you need to push back against fascism. You need to push back against violence and intimidation. Nelson Mandela said that he started fighting the battle for freedom on his first day in prison. He started campaigning for the right to wear long trousers when prisoners who were mixed race or Indian on Robben Island were allowed to wear long trousers. Black prisoners were expected to wear shorts. And he started that fight on the very first day in prison. With abusers, you need to set your boundaries early to stop the abuse getting out of hand. Because if you give in to these fascist cops, the fascism will just ramp up and ramp up and ramp up. We also need to think about this in the context of what's happening more broadly in America. People disappearing from the streets, women losing their rights, a president who's on a list of pedophiles and is now stopping that list from being published to protect himself. It is a country that is disintegrating, and violence will be the eventual outcome of that. More and more violence, like the violence you saw in that video, because people are no longer accountable for their actions. Power equals right in modern America, and that is the road to destruction.
First of all, shut your... Let me control myself right now, dog. You know what? Fuck that. Shut your weak ass up, fuck nigga. And let me just say this. Y'all know me. I like black. I like white. It don't even matter. I'm all about right and wrong. Fuck the color right now. It's about right and wrong accountability that grown-ass Jacksonville Sheriff Department can't take. In so many words, you saying that police officer ain't did nothing wrong. Nothing. Bitch, we must watch two different videos. Because I don't know what the hell you saw or what you talking about. And comply. Wait a minute. So you mean to tell me y'all can pull people over, ask them questions, but ain't nobody allowed to say nothing to y'all? No, we can't say nothing to y'all. No hey, no nothing. Just comply. TK Waters, you a hoe. I'm just gonna say it just like that, boy. Them white folks must got your ass in a chokehold. Because the way you trying to save these police officers, nigga. And not only that, you acting like this shit is normal. This is what y'all normally do on a daily basis. Like this not no shocking news or nothing. So then TK Waters, he began to say, okay, they took the officer badge just for right now until they get to the bottom of it. The bottom? You ain't see that dude at the bottom getting beat? It was 5 versus 1. And the crazy part about it, the dude ain't even swing. Yo, sheriff was doing all the swinging. And then you gonna come out and say this would have never happened if only he just would have be quiet and comply? Bitch.
So if we let this slide, we're co-signing state-sponsored assault every time a black person talks back. McNeil didn't need to be perfect to deserve rights. He didn't need to smile while being harassed. He didn't need to act like the help. And you don't build a just society by ignoring state-sponsored beatdowns just because the victim wasn't smiling through it. If you know a bootleg, send them this video. If you are a bootleg, stay tuned. There's more where this came from. And if you're unapologetically black, like, comment, and subscribe. This has been the Culture Debrief. I talk about black news all the time, so just stick around and support.